274-5297. If you're outside the area and you'd like to call in, 866-610-5297. You can call us toll-free from anywhere around the United States. We have Rebecca Mansour, who's with conservativesforpalin.com, the website. And as I say all the time, it's Conservatives for Palin, and it's the number 4, not the word for, not F-O-R, but the number 4. Welcome back to the program, Rebecca.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today and giving us a call and allow us to chat with you. Representative Mike Hawker made some disparaging remarks about the Alaska gas pipeline. In fact, his comments were it was let's see if I have them here. It was a circus, right?
Media circus. It was overblown media circus.
An overblown media circus. In that Exxon is nothing more than a subcontractor. Just interesting. You guys have done some real work looking into the background of Mr. Hawker and his relationship and things that were said about him during court trials with Pete Cott and Vic Coring about he was the one that really came up with the name of the Corrupt Bastards Club. Yeah, it was a joke. Mm-hmm. It was a joke, and but the thing that's disturbing is he found it a joke. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the court the one that really disturbs me too. They talked. Pete Cott was asking about the baseball caps, the Corrupt Bastards baseball caps, right? And he was asked. We got to figure out who's in the club. And they said, we got to get with Hawker. In other words, to find out who's in the club. Yes. Hawker made the joke. And now that's you could say, he was, and Hawker defends himself at the time saying it was just a joke. There was nothing nefarious about it and all that. Right. But then here's the one that really kicks. It's really a kicker. He was on a sailing trip with him, and 2 other guys on a sailing trip where bribes were placed. Sure. That's how can you miss that, okay? Bribes were placed right in front of him. Right. And, and then this is the kicker. He was asked while he was on that trip, when Hawker was asked if he was on the budget panel for health, education, and social services, he responded, I own the health, education, and services subcommittee. I own it. That was his thing. And then, the answer about all this was, while Hawker's name has come up in the trial as a supporter of the private prisons and beltway and halfway houses, he wasn't getting paid to take those positions. Right, I see. So basically, basically, he was on the boat when the bribe was made. He voted the same way, but he wasn't paid to make those positions. But he got the same amount of money from Vico that the others got to take the same positions that they took on the gas tax. Right. So, I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm just raising my eyebrows right now. And then the other thing is what kind of a public servant is that to say, I own that subcommittee, and then to hang out with these people that are taking bribes, and he never reported it. Right. Sarah Palin, when she saw wrongdoing going on, she quit. She quit her job at a time when she had no other job lined up, and it was her first big 6-figure job. Right, and we're speaking. She took a stand. Just to remind people, is when Sarah Palin was appointed to the oil and gas. What was that called? The Oil and Gas Commission. Anyway. Yeah, the AOGCC, the Alaska Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. Exactly, and when she was a member on that, she reported Randy Riedrich for wrongful activity and then quit. And that's really kind of what started a lot of things with the governor that have really it caused her to be defined as somebody that's willing to take a stand, and especially when it takes taking a stand at maybe some of the people that are on your team, so to speak, and that takes a lot of courage. It's interesting that Mike Hawker would say such a disparaging things about the gas pipeline. You also reported within that his wife works for ConocoPhillips. He did vote for AGEA, but then he says the relationship between the TransCanada and Exxon is a circus. What's your thoughts about that, and what have you reported about it? Well, here's what I think. I think that he's just crying about anything. I don't know if it's because his wife works for ConocoPhillips and that's the thing, or if it's just because he hates the governor and he's just being, a buzzkill on everything.
Right.
Because let's face it, the thing that really got me going on this thing, too, I mean, because I expected him to be a jerk about the announcement about it with Exxon, just because that's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really annoyed me, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back here,
sure.
was the fact that he had this piece that was out by KBTV or whatever. Basically, he was suggesting that the governor doesn't really care about sexual exploitation of women because she has underfunded the Department of Public Safety.
Oh, right,
now,
right.
I went through and looked at her operating budget for Department of Public Safety and Olive Murkowski's. She has increased the spending there every single year by like $10 million every year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's flat out lying there. The other thing that he's flat out lying is he says that the governor isn't serious about building the big crime lab. That's just completely misstating the record. First off, he was the one who shot it down the first time that it was there. She wanted to actually get that bonded, and he and his subcommittee and the lawmakers would not bond for it. Okay, and actually I believe Hawker. I heard on the Gavel to Gavel stuff. You can listen to their old audio recordings of him. He's the one that calls it a Taj Mahal.
And he's actually, and you know what? That's one of the reasons, I won't speak for the governor, but that's one of the reasons the governor has concerns with it. It's because of the price tag. Because, Rebecca, when you compare this crime lab and the cost of it to other crime labs around the country, there's a lot of people rolling their eyes at like $100 million. Are you kidding me? We're going to spend over $100 million on ours, or $97 million. And I did some investigation on it, and there's other cities, locales similar to ours, and the population and all, that are spending far less, 25% of that. And I have been trying to get people to come on and discuss it, and guess what? Mum's the word. I can't get anybody to talk about it. I'm unable to find people to really discuss this thing and open, because why? Because it is a Taj Mahal. So
yeah. When you go to the crime lab people and tell us what you want.
Exactly.
They're going to be like, we need this special driving range for the executives,
And
it's crucial.
And it sounds like Hawker's, trying to have it both ways. He's saying it's a Taj Mahal. I believe the governor agrees with that, and that's one of the things she's been resistant about it. But now he's criticizing her for trying to be a fiscal conservative and trying to.
There's also, you got to keep in mind also they're doing it. They have an independent review of it too that hasn't been released public yet. So they're going to have an independent review of that price. I think the price is going to end up going down. That's where the thing is right now, too.
Yes, yeah.
It's not, but they got the seed money, they got the site prep, they're moving forward on it. The price will end up coming down as they got this independent review coming in, and saying, it doesn't need to be this big. It has to be, it can be this big. Hawker is basically just out there doing this because he's trying to hit Sarah Palin.
Yeah,
that's all it's about.
I believe it's true. And also you report here on your website, it says between 1998 and 2000, reports show that VECO employees and their family members contributed no less than $914,929.71 to Alaska political campaigns. Hawker, John Cowdery, Pete Cott, Vic Coring, Frank Murkowski, and Mike Hawker is there with an $8,000 contribution along with Tom Anderson. It says one should note that these totals do not include Senate President Ben Stevens' consulting contract with VECO either. Well, hey, Rebecca, as always, it's been fun, informative, and I appreciate your time with us.
Hey, it was great, Eddie. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to all those listeners out there around the country listening on the station here, and our fans of conservatives4palin.com. We appreciate it. We'll be right back, folks.